Mason here, back on the Synthedelic channel. This time it's going to be a somewhat in-depth guide on how to use the sneaky amps and what the sneaky amps are. The sneaky amps come from the Boss GT100 series of effect panels, foot switches. It's basically just software that was left over in the Katana's production, and through the live sets that you can import each one of the specific amp types that were on the GT100 effects board. There's going to be a link. If you don't already have the sneaky amps, it'll be the first link in this description. You'll get 2 different live sets because there's too many amps for one live set. You also want to make sure that your Tone Studio and your Katana both are at the latest firmware. There is a second option other than the Tone Studio, and it's called the Katana Floorboard by Gum Studios, I believe, and I personally think it's extremely confusing. You can do a couple more things, but it was really buggy for me. It would break all the time, and it also makes your regular Tone Studio not work at all. So I would just avoid that. So let's get started with the first amp. It's going to be the BR JC120, and this is supposed to be a Roland JC120. This is one of the only sneaky amps I think actually sounds accurate to the original amp that they're saying it is. It's really bright, really sparkly. It's probably my favorite clean amp that the Katana has. Just a simple chorus on this and it becomes one of the ultimate cleans. The second sneaky amp is the natural clean. This is actually the basic clean channel on the Katana already. And BR natural clean, when it says BR in front of it, it just is the brighter version. It has more treble. The BR natural clean is the clean channel, the basic clean channel with the variation turned on. Clean twin is a 60s Fender twin reverb, supposed to be. It's a pretty round tone, it's a little boomy. Then there's the BR clean twin, which is just the brighter version. It's a little less boomy. Kind of sounds a little westerny. There is no unbright Tweed version, but the Tweed is a crunch channel. It's supposed to be a Fender Bassman 4x10. Combo Crunch is the basic crunch channel that's already on the Katana. BR Combo Crunch is the crunch channel on the Katana, but with the variation turned on. Stack Crunch is an original Boss amp. I personally believe it was the Mark I version of the crunch channel. Pro Crunch is an original Boss amplifier. It's a pretty clean tone for it to be a crunch. Turn the gain up a little bit. Pretty boomy, a lot of mids there. Then there's the bright version of that one. It's a little less boomy, a little more twangy. Then there's the Deluxe Crunch, which is a 60s Fender Deluxe reverb. There's VO Drive, which is a Vox AC30 TB drive sound. Turn the gain up a little bit. So it sounds a little low pass to me. I haven't used this one in any of the tones I've made. And then there's VO lead, which is the Vox AC30 TB with the lead sound turned on. And last but not least, in the Sneaky Amp bank number 1 is Match Drive, supposedly a matchless DC30. Not a whole lot of low end there, super twangy, pretty sparkly maybe. Real twangy. For the first one on the Sneaky Amp bank 2 is HiGain Stack, which is an original Boss amplifier. And then there's Extreme Lead, which is an original Boss amplifier as well. There's Core Metal, which is another original Boss amplifier. That one's pretty good for metal tones, actually. It's not got a lot of low end. It's punching through just a little, the perfect frequency. It's a little airy. BG Lead is a Mesa Boogie Mark IV, supposedly. It's not what I used for any of the Metallica tones. The RBG Lead is the bright version. BG Drive, it's a Mesa Boogie Mark II B. Sounds really muddy. I can't believe this is supposed to be a Mesa Boogie. Listen to that boom 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 boom. This isn't really one of the best starting amplifiers for tone matching. Then there's the bright version of that. It's still really muddy, really boomy, a lot of low end, not a lot of high end, just a little sizzle. Then there's MS1959-1, which is a Marshall Plexi on the channel 1. This one sounds a little, it gets a lot of fuzz when you turn the gain up. I personally like this one a lot. I think it is a slightly better than the MS1959 1+2, which is a Marshall Plexi with the channels paralleled. I still like this one a lot. I think it is accurate to a Marshall almost. You can kind of turn down the volume for it. Really like that about it. R-Fire Vintage, which is supposed to be a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier in vintage mode. I think these are somewhat accurate. It's just maybe it's because it's the Katana that it doesn't actually sound like a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier. I personally have used R-Fire Vintage and R-Fire Modern quite heavily, a lot. They're two of my favorites for sure. They just sound like a bigger amp in here. They don't sound like a little tiny little box. R-Fire Modern is basically the same thing. It's just got a little less sizzle on the top. It's a little more mid-heavy. T-Amp lead is a Hughes & Kettner Tri-Amp 3. This one's really good for lead tones, I think, because it's not too sizzly. It's pretty clear, so you can get the notes you want to ring out a little better in a mix. Turn up the gain a little bit, add a little reverb. And last but not least, Power Drive. This is the one that I think sounds the most like Mesa Boogie that Metallica would have used. It's a supposedly original Boss amp. I think it sounds really good. Great starting tone for a lot of metal, especially Metallica. The palm mutes aren't super boomy. Doesn't actually like blow anything out. If you add a driver to this, it behaves phenomenally well. Just gotta find that sweet spot between gain. I hope this was somewhat informative. If you didn't know what the sneaky amps were before, or how to use them, or what they sounded like even, I went ahead and removed some of the ones that just don't work from the packs, so you don't even have to worry about the ones that are scary, because when I was using them, it makes the Katana speaker like pop, like pretty loud, like it's clipping, but you can't hear your guitar, and it's a little scary. So I went ahead and removed those, so you don't have to worry about breaking your Katana speaker or anything like that. And like I said, they're going to be the first link in the description if you don't have them already. They're a lot of fun. It's a lot more fun than just I know you get 10 choices with the amp type, with the variation and whatnot, but all the sneaky amps sound completely different. If you're looking to like match tones, you need to find an amp that responds like the amp you're trying to get, and it just adds a lot more flexibility in terms of finding an amplifier that replicates that type of behavior that the amp would have, specifically for like palm mutes and open chords, like where's the roar, like where is the main note happening in the frequency spectrum. And you really just need the preamp to act like the original amp if you want to play the songs and have them respond through the amp like how they respond in the song on the album. Thanks for watching this video all the way to the end here. I know it could have been boring. Depends on what you think boring is. I'm going to be coming out with the Alice in Chains tone pretty soon. And then after that, probably another Megadeth tone. I'll go back and forth between Megadeth and Alice in Chains for a little while. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.